Hello, Aries. This is your reading for the week of October 12th through 18th. We're going to open up the reading today with the Porcupine Spirit. And this one says, Time for Beginner Mind. Okay, we've been getting this one lately. I think that's a really good card to begin with, that beginner mind. You know, let's realize that we still have more to learn, and let's have that willingness to study, the willingness to absorb information, you know, the willingness to try and fail, giving ourselves permission to not know all the answers all the time, right? We're going to do our Dove and Serpent spread. Here we go. Again, this is for the week of October 12th through 18. You have a Knight of Swords, okay? We have a Three of Wands. We have the Strength card. Very good. And the Hierophant. Yeah, see, that is kind of that learning energy. And I feel like it's not so much that you're all like starting at white belt, you know, but regardless of how advanced you are in your knowledge, your wisdom, your experience, or your expertise, the message really is that if we approach it every day like a fresh day, you know, every day, like I'm going in and I'm going to learn what I can. I'm going to be humble. I'm going to learn lessons. I'm going to try to add to my knowledge. It doesn't matter how high up the ladder you get. There's always something more to learn, you know. So you have the Hierophant here too, because I think it's saying like you already have, you know, come quite a long way in your life, right? Whatever you're doing in your life right now, I feel like you've had a lot of knowledge and experience, and you've developed a lot of expertise already. Here we have a Ten of Swords, and we have a Six of Cups. Look at that beauty. Over here, we have a Seven of Wands and a Nine of Cups. You got some good cards, Aries. A Queen of Wands as well, and of course, we've got the Star card. So I think that you really are, this week is going to be a really good week for staying in that beginner mind. Never feeling as if, I know it all already, you know, that there's always something new to learn. And as long as we have the willingness to stay open and we're able to say, look, I don't know everything. Even as someone that's been doing tarot for, I mean, not to date myself, but like 20 years, there's always more to learn. There's always more, you know, meditation on these cards. I think I learn something every day doing these readings with you, you know. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're just going to set one down right over here with Alien, Simon, Mork, Ripley. Right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need, all right, at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that is, put your prediction in the comments right below the video, all right? Now, as we look around the room, we see major, major, major arcana cards. We've got fire, good amount of fire here. We have, thankfully, some really good water energy. Okay, we do have our swords cards, and I think what we're kind of lacking right now is the earth energy, and I don't think that's because like that the harvest isn't coming in. I think the Six and the Nine of Cups kind of take care of that harvest energy for us. Like we know the good stuff is coming in. I think the message with that is really like it's not about what you're doing, it's about how and why you're doing it. Okay, so the Pentacles aren't here because I think that your actions are probably right on point. It's just about maintaining the right mindset to keep it going, you know? So I like that. We start out with our Knight of Swords, and this is a card of fast movement, really bold action that might define the week. But it's important that we stay humble, you know? This is, you know, your determination is strong. I feel like this is you rushing forward into your day, into your week, regardless of what you're doing. Maybe you're retired, maybe you're in school. Being sort of headstrong, you know, and being determined, but also having that sort of humility that allows us to make sure we're headed in the right direction and make sure we're not being too sure of ourselves, you know, that we can pause, to think things through. We can pause to sort of learn. To me, this feels like somebody that believes they have all the answers and they're just rushing forward, and, everybody around saying, well, wait a minute, what about this? What about this? And this is a person that's just like, no, I know everything and I'm just going to fly forward. So be careful with that energy. I feel like you do have a lot of knowledge, wisdom, and expertise. It's a good time to slow down our thoughts and our movements so that we can get the bigger picture. There's no haste that needs to be made this week. I think it's not a time for you rushing into something before you get all the facts. Impulsive words or decisions are going to cause some conflict this week. Pause to think it through. Pause to gain all of the clarity that you can. Okay? I think this is really about you channeling your efforts into meaningful pursuits. No scattered efforts, okay? And those kind of pursuits are going to bring progress for you. You're going to come a long way this week. I think it's going to be a very productive week for you. But we want to slow down a little bit and make sure that we're sort of going forward with clarity, okay? So I think the message of this card is very clear. Like everything that you're doing is right on. But just slow down and make sure you're seeing everything that you need to see. Make sure that you're paying attention to all the details, and make sure that you have a willingness to sort of listen to other opinions. Because sometimes we're rushing forward so fast that we don't hear the voice of caution, that we can't hear other people around us saying, hey, there's that last step is a doozy or something, right? So we slow down and we're able to take in all the information that we need, and sometimes even, get the opinions of others and get the advice, perhaps, that we're not always willing to hear. But I think it's important that we slow down a little bit, because rushing into anything without paying attention and without all the information could lead to conflicts. So we'll be careful. The Three of Wands, you also have this. This is the effort that you've been putting in to your life, at home, at work, at school. Doesn't matter. Your relationships, your pets, your plants, your people, your garden, your book club, your music, whatever it is, beginning to show results. I think this is going to be a week where if you do slow down and you proceed with determination, but proceed with a little bit of caution, a little bit of caution, I think you'll also notice that things are progressing quite nicely. To me, this feels like slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And I think that I would rather slow down and get everybody's opinion and get all the extra information that I might need, collect the data that might be useful, and see really steady progress than to rush ahead with something and then realize at the end that there was something I didn't see, something I didn't know, and then I've got to go back anyway. And it sort of it slows things down. This is a card of expansion and growth that I think are on the horizon for you. I think your progress this week is going to be steady and it's going to be visible. You're going to be able to see whatever you're doing is increasing, is getting better, is getting bigger, whether it's your business or your creative idea that is unfolding. I think there's going to be a lot of progress this week for you, okay? So stay patient, but keep moving forward. I think a lot of you are very close to a goal. The 3 is one step away from a 4, right? And a 4 is that milestone energy. So I think that if you stay focused and determined, but also keep your ears open, right? I think you're going to take that final step and reach that goal or that milestone that you've been after. Sometimes this is a card of anticipation, right? That what you've set in motion, we're now standing back and like really hoping that it bears fruit, okay? And I think it will. You have a confidence in your vision. You're being told by Spirit to believe in what you're doing. Your confidence is going to allow you to receive not only the fruit of your labor, but also new opportunities. So slowing down and keeping your ears open, you got to keep your ears on, right? That's going to allow you to hear about those other opportunities, right? So that, you're gonna stop and you're gonna have those conversations. And you're going to welcome the opinions and the advice of other people. Doesn't mean you have to take their advice or agree with their opinions, but being willing to stop and have that conversation is going to help you to, perhaps get the recommendation for something new, or get that little piece of information that's going to help you. Okay, that one piece of insight or something like that. Okay. Now we have a strength card underneath. This is fortitude, this is lust, this is passion. True power is going to come from gentleness and patience and a quiet courage. So we have to be careful with that Knight of Swords. It should go like that. Got to be careful with that Knight of Swords, that we're not rushing in, feeling like we got this in the bag. I know everything already. I don't have to listen to anybody. Let's say you're at the sort of home stretch, that you're running a marathon. You can see the tape at the finish line. You can see the checkered flag ahead of you. And so you just start running and you're just saying, I don't need to worry about anything. I got this in the bag. I don't need any kind of caution. I got this. I've already won, That's when you're going to fall down. That's when, like your team was trying to tell you, hey, there's somebody coming up behind you really fast, and you're not going to listen because you're already in your celebration energy, and that person's going to just zoom right by you. We don't want to be that person. I feel like that's a meme or something, right? So, it's about saying, look, I'm very close to the goal right now, but that just means I have to be extra cautious. And that means that we're going to be, we're going to be compassionate. We're going to listen. We're going to be gentle with what we're doing now. Because it could be that you're so close to finishing something that it's like, if you were to rush, it's very likely that you could like ruin it or like break it, So we're trying to be very gentle right now. I think you're someone also that's facing challenges with compassion rather than force. It really is slowing down and taming that part of you that wants to just rush forward, okay? I think that you're somebody who meets your fears head on. And I think that you tend to treat yourself and others with a lot of kindness. And I think that's going to be very important for you this week as well, the kindness, right? Speak gently to yourself, especially in difficult moments. Treat other people with respect yourself and all that kind of stuff, okay? You have an ability right now to stay calm when other people are kind of like losing their minds. And I think that kind of goes with our Knight of Swords a little bit. If there are any challenges or difficulties that arise this week, stay calm and take it slow. Collaborate, listen, observe. Look at everything before you react. Listen more than you talk, because it could be that you see a problem and you're going to jump right in, but it wasn't what you thought. So hold that energy back just a little bit, okay? And listen and get all the information before you make a decision about how to deal with the problem, whether it's with your family members or your kids or your coworkers or something like this, right? Don't just assume you know everything that happened, that you know all the details, and then you say something or do something or you make a decision that later you're going to find out, whoops, I didn't know everything yet, okay? I think that you're leaning into trust also, trusting yourself and trusting in the process of what you're doing. It's really a very bold and very, courageous type of person. I think that this week also you're choosing love and you're choosing openness rather than control. Okay, I think that's some beautiful, beautiful energy. Let's talk about our Hierophant back here. So the Hierophant is tradition, right? It's teaching, it's shared wisdom, and that might really be playing a big role for you this week. Guidance from other people, mentors, elders, right? Even, your spiritual practices. Fall back if you need to on those teachings, on that guidance. It doesn't hurt to, you ordered something from Amazon, a bookshelf that you're going to have to assemble, right? And you just kind of throw out the instructions and say, I know how to do this. Come on, I've done this before. And you get your screwdriver out and you put it together. Maybe it doesn't quite look like a bookshelf, right? So it might say, it doesn't hurt to flip through the instruction manual. It doesn't hurt to confirm what I think I already know by asking other people, consulting with somebody else, bringing in, your friend or your family member or your cat to say, do I have this right? How does this look to you? Or to consult the textbook or the the authority on the matter. Okay, so there could be some guidance from those mentors or elders in your life, even though you might consider yourself already a mentor or an elder. You can be the teacher and the student at the same time. Remember, beginner mind. Once we feel like we've mastered something and we know everything about it, we sort of lose that beginner mind, and then I think we're really stuck. Then we start to stagnate, then it becomes dogma, So it could be a good week for you seeking out a community or like-minded people that you can share ideas with that will stimulate growth and learning and, kind of says, it doesn't hurt every once in a while to go and read that old math book again just to brush up on our skills, I always think of like Danny Carey, one of the best drummers, I think, living today. And I heard he's a fan of the show. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but, he, to me, is considered someone that has mastered the drums, right? He's a drummer, for anybody that doesn't know, for the band Tool, who hopefully will have a new album pretty soon. But he's considered a master of his craft. But he's always trying new things. He's always learning something new. He's always pushing himself with the polyrhythms and with the different styles and genres of drumming and things like. He's always trying to do something different that's kind of challenging him. And that's why he's considered a master, because he's always in the woodshed, trying to expand on his skills. So it doesn't matter how far up we get in that level of mastery, there's always something new that we should be doing. I think once we stop learning, once we stop growing, we just sort of stagnate and it just becomes dogma. We become very dogmatic in our life, and that applies to everything that we do. If you really care about what you're doing in life, you're going to want to keep doing it. Like, I love tarot so much. I'm always looking for the next tarot book that comes out. I'm always watching other readers on YouTube and seeing, how they are experiencing the energies and the different cards. And to me, we have to be doing that. We're part of a community. So seek out that community in your life and see if we can foster more growth and learning and all that stuff. It's also a good week for you to sort of honor the lessons that you've learned from the past and how they might apply to your future and how they might apply to kind of what's going on right now and how that's going to affect next week, how that's going to affect your future, okay? It's a card of asking questions, Be humble enough to ask questions and listen for the answer and not feel like we know everything. And remember that wisdom is best to be shared with others. Wisdom can grow when we share ideas. Okay? And I think the Ten of Swords, among other things, is kind of talking about like the alternative. That if we rush into something with this know-it-all mind, I feel like we're going to end up stabbing ourselves in the back. We're going to put our foot in our mouth in a really serious way, So it's kind of saying let's consult other people. Let's make sure that we get all of the info. Let's read the file before we just go in and assume that before we walk into the room and start talking. Maybe we do our research and we actually read the prospectus or the brief or like the report or whatever it is going on for you, Just so we can avoid the embarrassment, really, of that Ten of Swords. Because the Ten of Swords could just be embarrassment. One of the meanings of this card is just like, I feel like I just kind of stabbed myself in the back and, I betrayed myself in a way is how I look at this card. And it could be that sort of embarrassment. But, it could also be a week where things are ending. There are decisions that have to be made. There are things that maybe need to be said goodbye to, okay? And sometimes that could be painful. And so if there are things that you're sort of considering ending, or if things are coming to a close for you, or even before you end something, before you say goodbye to something, make sure that you have that clarity, so that we don't end up canceling something that, oops, I really wanted that service, So just be aware of that. If it no longer serves you, we can let go of it. Okay, this is a card that's saying that maybe there is, maybe it is kind of a turning point right now where we are letting go of some of the lessons from the past. Okay, or even when we look at this picture all together, it could be that a lot of you are sort of, transcending or even graduating from some level of teaching, okay, and saying goodbye to the sort of dogma of the past, and sort of forging your own way, transcending, right, and sort of being, pushing the envelope in something, and innovating in your field. So I think that maybe it's kind of that bittersweet where it's like the teacher has now surpassed, or the student has surpassed the teacher, okay? And so a lot of you might be saying goodbye to the textbook or to the school, the university, the class that you took, and kind of feeling like now it's time for you to go out and be on the cutting edge of your field and to push the envelope and to help, to push your industry forward. Okay, so it could be some of this energy is you being a leader in your industry and realizing that the wisdom and the teachings of the past are very important to you still, but it may be your duty to move beyond these. So it's kind of like, yes, you've graduated, with the certificate or whatever. Now you actually have to go out in the field and you've got to do something to contribute to this field. You got to go out and write your own textbook. Okay, what is your contribution to the existing body of knowledge or wisdom in your life? Okay, so that could be one way of looking at some of this energy. For some of you, that's going to be kind of what this week is all about. But the Ten of Swords, too, for some of you, is us really releasing something that no longer serves us. So the Hierophant could be tradition in terms of family or upbringing or culture or just the dogma of society around you. And the Ten of Swords is you saying, I'm letting go of that. That I got to forge my own way. This could be even, our childhood programming, right? So a lot of you are making that kind of a move this week where we're releasing some of those things that we've been taught about ourselves or about the world. I feel like knowledge is changing generally in the world right now. I think a lot of things in science, a lot of things in art, and a lot of things in like physics and astrophysics and this thing, 3i Atlas, whatever that thing is. I feel like a lot of what we thought we knew about the world is sort of changing right now. And I think it's a good time for all of us to consider what that means for us and to experience a little bit of that and say, look, maybe the world isn't what I thought it was. Maybe the world isn't what my parents told me it was going to be or what I learned in school. Maybe that's not the way things actually are. To just be a little bit open, I guess, to those sort of changes. Anyway. Six of Cups, though, the good stuff. The Six of Cups is a card of family and community. It's about sharing our experience with the people around us. It really is a card of love and affection, right? It's sweet and innocent, and there's comfort here. It may be an interesting time for you where you are feeling nostalgic about the past. For those of you that are seeing the conclusion of, like some kind of educational thing, like a class or like school or university, or even for some of you that are sort of transitioning out of the workforce into retirement, that sort of thing. I feel like there might be a transition for a lot of you right now. And it's kind of, we're feeling nostalgic for the past. We feel like a particular connection. There's some really sweet memories that we have, but we're also realizing that we need to move forward now, okay? For some of you, there are connections from the past that are going to surface that will perhaps offer clarity or even healing for you. Okay, could be in terms of family or something like that, or something in terms even of culture or ancestry. Some of you are doing some kind of ancestry research, and I think that you're going to be very surprised about your ancestry if that's what you're up to this week, right? This is a card too, just embracing simple pleasures, having moments of joy and play, and being able to share that with other people. Concentrating on what really matters and allowing yourself to exchange that sort of love energy with other people in your life, especially friends and family, the people close to you. Sharing kindness, sharing love and affection is going to make your week feel a lot lighter. Going to make your week feel just much sweeter, okay? Now, this is a really, really wonderful energy. I love the Six of Cups. I love the image on the Rider-Waite too. It's the sharing, the offering of gifts. And I think that really is, that's going to be a big part of your week too. And it's something to focus on too, because it may not be something that just kind of happens. Maybe something that you have to intentionally initiate. Something that you have to really say, I'm making time for love and affection this week, okay? Because what we have with the Seven of Wands is this need to defend ourselves or stand our ground. We're standing firm in what we believe. And it could be that you're having an issue with the Hierophant in your life, where the Hierophant is this conformity that's kind of saying, this is how you should be, this is what you should do. And you're saying, no, I need to step away and be my own person, okay? So for some of you, there is that kind of a transition happening in your life where you're standing up for what you believe and not what you've been taught to believe, or not what the consensus is. Okay, this is kind of like you're standing on your own here, and you're kind of up against a bunch of opponents, you know? So it could be that you're defending, some of you are defending like your thesis or something, right? I feel like maybe there is this opinion or this belief or this value that you hold that goes against what everybody else sort of believes or what they feel. It may be that you do feel this need to defend yourself. But this is a card that's saying you're standing firm, you're protecting your energy, and you're not just going to give in and say, fine, I'll let it go, and I'll believe what you all believe. I think that you're very tenacious, okay? And there may be challenges, there may be some challenges like that this week where you have to believe in yourself, you have to trust the knowledge that you hold, the experience that you have. It could be that you do know the way forward here, and other people are saying, no, that's not going to work, that's not going to work, that's not the way, don't do it. But you're saying, I believe in what I'm about to do. I believe that this is the right thing. You know, and I think that it's important that you listen to the opinions of others, but you don't let yourself be convinced that everybody else is right and you're wrong. Unless you truly can say, okay, you know what? Maybe I can put my stick down and say, you know what? Y'all are right. But don't feel pressured to do that, okay? It needs to come from your own choice, your own intention. It's a card of courage and perseverance. Don't let any opposition shake you or rattle you right now. If there are challenges, you're going to have the strength to meet them, but you're going to have to stand up for what you believe. Okay, holding your ground now might be securing your long-term progress. Believe in yourself even if you're outnumbered. That is the message here. Because what we want, of course, is the harmony and the beauty and the community of the Six of Cups, but we want the happiness of the Nine of Cups too. Okay, and this is contentment, this is emotional satisfaction. This is what you're after. Okay, wishes are going to come true. I think there is the opportunity for comfort and for lasting happiness, emotional fulfillment. Okay, there's gratitude here with the Six of Cups and the Nine of Cups, so gratitude is going to be a key to that deeper joy. Appreciate what you have, appreciate the people that are with you and that are for you and that support you, and defend yourself, defend your energy, defend your people against any opposition. Okay. Allow yourself to enjoy, again, the simple luxuries and pleasures of life. Happiness is going to grow when it's shared with others. This is somebody that's sitting with all of their accomplishments. And I think it's very important that you then share it with other people. Just like the Nine of Pentacles shows one person with a bunch of stuff. Just make sure that just outside the frame here is all your people and all the people you're sharing it with. We just can't see them because it's highlighting you. You're getting the good stuff. And you're going to share it with others, right? But you're in the spotlight. And it may be that you're being really like recognized for a continued success. That your progress, I think whatever you believe right now is going to lead you toward further recognition. One more trophy on the mantle, right? And it's kind of like people are going to start to just trust you because I feel like you do know what you're talking about. You do know what's what. And I think people are going to, they're going to come to trust you more and more and doubt you less and less. Okay? This is really, really the good stuff here. A wonderful feeling. Queen of Wands also, there's a confidence, there's a charisma, and there's a creativity here. And I feel like that's going to be kind of your superpower for the week, is going to be that confidence and that charisma. Again, don't just rush into something like a know-it-all and end up wrong and get your foot in your mouth and embarrass yourself. But you also have to be confident and independent, and you have to believe in what you're doing. You have to lead, okay, your life here. But just make sure you get all the facts. Make sure that you're doing it responsibly and maturely. The Queen of Wands is warmth, that really attracts people. People want to come and hang out with this person because there's passion here and there's independence. And this is someone that just says, I'm going to do things my way, but doesn't do that in an arrogant way. Okay, kind of, it's inspiring to other people. I think you have a courage that allows you to do something that sort of goes against the grain. You're doing that in a responsible way, and I think people want to kind of follow you. People believe in you in that way, okay? And I feel that with the Seven of Wands, too, you're willing to fight for the unpopular opinion. You're okay being unpopular. She doesn't care about being unpopular. She cares about doing what she wants to do, doing what she does and what feels good and what feels right. And I do feel like you're stepping into the spotlight a little bit between this and the Nine of Cups. I feel like you're ready to be seen. And I feel like your ambition is balanced by your compassion. And I do feel like you are stepping into some kind of a leadership role, or you already are leading by example. Okay. Now, finally, we have the Star card. Don't forget to like the video. I keep forgetting to mention that now. It really helps to push this video out to everybody that needs to see it and hear it and watch it and experience it, okay? So please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, we've got a Star card here. This is hope and renewal lighting your way this week. I think there is a healing energy. I think that maybe some old wounds are being sort of being let go of and moved on from, okay? So it could be that something is really coming into your life to kind of soothe some things that you're moving past. There's a healing energy here, okay? I feel like your inner light is shining very brightly right now. I think that you are stepping into your destiny without fear. Okay, I feel like maybe there's been a hardship in your life recently. I feel like this is a card that's saying peace and inspiration are returning. Okay, you have a very, very bright future, and I think that you're stepping boldly into it. And I think that you know that your future holds promise and beauty and love and bliss and blessings. Okay. And I think that you are someone that has a lot of gratitude. I think you appreciate the little things in life. And that's allowing those little things to grow into big things. Okay. I feel like you have an ability to accept the hard truths that the universe is showing you. Because the Star card to me feels like the star illuminates what's going on inside of us, shows us where our blockages are. so that we can acknowledge those. And as we acknowledge those, that starlight starts to kind of spill out from us and shows us our yellow brick road to our Emerald City. Okay, so I feel like your path is becoming more and more clear as you deal with the difficult things, as you clear away blockages, you untie the knots of karma, you learn where your buttons and triggers and sore spots are, you know? And it's helping you to grow into your true self energy, and it's allowing you to see more clearly the path of your destiny so that you can walk that path. I think you're trusting in the flow of life, and you trust your place in that life. Beautiful energy this week. Let's look at the mystery card. This is going to be some guidance. I feel like this is like a higher wisdom or some kind of spiritual message that's going to help you with your alignment. If you have a prediction for that card, please put it in the comments. I kind of feel like, I don't know what I feel like it's going to be, actually. I kind of feel like it's going to be another Hierophant, you know? Let's see. Oh, it's a Five of Cups. Okay. Five of Cups is asking us to let go of something that we cannot change, something that's already happened in your life that may have been a disappointment. It may cause a little heaviness in your heart, maybe a sadness, maybe something that I didn't want to see it, but I have to acknowledge what it is. It's again with that star card, right? The star card showing us things that we don't always want to see, but it's necessary for us to look at it so that we can transcend it and we can keep going and we can let that light sort of shine out from us unimpeded, right? So, you know, it doesn't feel good usually. And this might be a sadness over what has been lost or what wasn't there in some way. The Five of Cups being like, I expected something to be here, it wasn't here, therefore I'm disappointed. And I think that you're trying to really see the light. You're trying to let go of these hurt feelings or these upsets or these losses or these disappointments so that you can see what still remains. And I think it's perfect that we have a Six of Cups in the reading too, you know? Because it may be that like sharing love and affection with the people around you are going to help you to get over something, to get over some kind of recent disappointment or something like that, okay? Hope and healing are waiting for you just behind. Once we turn away from the cups that are spilled, then we can get that love that's right there waiting for us, right? So release the past. It no longer is defining you or your future. Allow healing energy to come in. Focus on what you're building. Focus on the relationships if you're interested in love. Well, this would be a very good time to focus on that, but you've got to let go of the past, right? Focus on what you are building, both in terms of love and money. Don't focus on what has slipped away. Okay? And for some of you, it's going to be about that Ten of Swords. That something has ended, and we are feeling that kind of disappointment. And we got to know that, you know, that beauty and kindness and sweetness and love and harmony is right here for us. Okay? Now, stay tuned for the extended reading. We're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do oracle cards, and we will clarify love and money. And we will do a yes-no coin, okay? There is a link right there for you to join and watch that extended reading. Aries, I thank you, I love you, and I'll see you there.